Hello, everybody. My name is Ishangalieva, and I'm an English teacher at school number 200. And the theme of today's plenary session is formative assessment. Let me share my screen. Okay. And the learning, according to the learning targets, we can say that we can communicate the importance of formative assessment, differentiate between formative assessment and summative assessment, and share with others how formative assessment fits into a balanced assessment system, and explore digital formative assessment tools and plan for use in my classroom. So there are five key strategies of formative assessment. The first is learning targets. The second is elicit evidence. And the third, feedback. Four, peer feedback and assessment. And the fifth is self-assessment. And what is a formative assessment? Formative assessment is a collection of strategies teachers employ to get clarity on what they will be teaching and to assess how well students have learned what they are teaching. And the understanding gained from formative assessment serves as the foundation teachers use to make adjustments to ways they teach so students will learn what is being taught. And of course, you know that formative assessment allows both teachers and students to monitor students' progress towards the mastery. And the purpose of the formative assessment is to improve learning. And as you know, that formative assessment is for learning, and it is used to guide instruction, ongoing check up. And the summative assessment is not a type of unit or benchmark test students take. Formative assessment processes are different than the assessment instruments used as part of the formative process. So, what makes an assessment formative? Of course, tools and the process. And we sometimes ask, how do formative assessments help us as a teacher? Uh, Formative assessments help to guide future instruction and helps to guide what content needs more focus and instruction. And they help me figure out what do next. Of course, when we plan for the next steps according to the information we get from formative assessment, and we change what I'm doing if needed, and uh, to guide instruction to form groups. And the benefits of formative assessment for teachers, it is you can modify instructions and identify student errors early and provide reteaching when needed. And for students, they receive feedback about their learning, given opportunities to set learning goals. And they can ask questions for clarification, and of course, they learn to self-evaluate. Learning and achievement increases. And as a teacher, we plan and individualize instruction and the curricula to children's learning processes. And we check students' understanding and gains, and pinpoint the target learning gaps, identify students who may need extra support or further testing. And here appears a question: how can others use information from formative assessments? Of course, information gained from formative assessment can help a teacher determine first how to group students, second, whether students need alternative materials, third, how much time to allocate to specific learning activities, and fourth, which concepts need to be retaught to specific students. And the fifth, which students are ready to advance. And in this slide, you see the formative assessment cycle. In this cycle, we ask three questions. Where am I going? Where am I now? How can I close the gap? According to these questions, we need these 7 strategies of formative assessment. First, provide a clear and understandable version of learning targets. The second, use examples of strong and weak work. Third, offer regular descriptive feedback. Fourth, teach students to self-assess and set goals. 5, design lessons to focus on one aspect of quality at a time. The 6, teach students focused revision. The 7th, engage students in self-reflection and let them document and share their learning. And of course, when we ask what is the feedback, we say that feedback is information that helps a student to navigate the gap between where he is and where he is meant to be in terms of understanding and performance. And we don't forget about the feedback that need 7 strategies here. The first one, feedback is not advice or praise or evaluation. Feedback is information about how we are doing in our efforts to reach a goal. And the second, if students know that the classroom is a safe place to make mistakes, they are more likely to use feedback for learning. And third, feedback students give teachers can be more powerful than the feedback teachers give students. The first, when we give a grade as part of our feedback, students routinely read only as far as grade. And the fifth, effective feedback occurs during the learning while there is still time to act on it. 6, most of the feedback that students receive classroom work is from other students, and much of that feedback maybe is wrong. Yeah. The 7th, students need to know their learning target, the specific skill they are supposed to learn, or else feedback is just someone telling them what to do. And some final thoughts about the formative assessment is that formative assessment refers to what happens on a daily basis in the classroom. And it provides teachers with information about specific next instructional steps for students. Assessment drives instruction. And students know where they are at instructionally and where they need to go. Ongoing assessment provides continual feedback that helps students progress over time. And formative assessment is not new. It is a new way of thinking about our current instruction. And I would like you to watch a video about what teachers thought on a formative assessment. Let's watch the video.
We tend to think that our spirit is in our body. That's actually not correct. Your body is in your spirit.
I first learned about formative assessment in college, in my graduate classes, and there we were just kind of taught the basic level of formative assessment, which is, use the call sticks or use a ticket to leave. But they had never really told us what to do with the information to better instruct our, to make our teaching better, to instruct our students towards the targets they're trying to reach. And so I remember feeling frustrated at first because I would gather all this data and have kids all over the place and then have no idea what to do with it after I'd gathered it. But now I feel like I have a much better understanding of how to use the data, not just collect it. I've learned a lot of different strategies to use with formative assessment, especially hands-down strategies, which seem to cause so much engagement in the classroom, which I love. But I'm learning a lot more about now how to gather that data and make instructional decisions. So it's definitely informed my teaching in that way, where I'm thinking much more about flexible groupings, and I'm thinking much more creatively about how I can meet the standards with when kids are at different places. I'm much more conscientious about it. I do it much more deliberately now. I think before it was like, I was using the call sticks as a management tool or something like that. And now I'm planning it. I'm planning, every few minutes to do a check-in using formative assessment.
The formative assessment process has really helped me know what my students know by being able to have kind of a building block and scaffolding for the students. I can start them at kind of a basic level and slowly progress them through to a more advanced level to hit that target. Because I use all different forms of assessments, like my observations, conferences with the students one-on-one, just small discussions with them, exit slips, thumbs up, all the different types of formative assessment that I do use on a regular basis in the classroom. My ability to give them feedback is so much more in-depth, so much more focused, and really can directly relate to the target. And I can kind of get them to grow quicker, it almost seems, because they're getting this descriptive feedback from me.
Observation is really the foundation of not only differentiated instruction, but also formative assessment. You have to be there with the students. You have to see what they're doing. You have to break down the wall that can exist between a teacher and between a student. And the only way that you can do that is to get kids acclimated that here I am and I am with you and you are with me. And I am observing, and not only am I observing you, but the students are observing each other. So it's a two-way street. Yes, I'm observing them, I'm seeing what they're doing, I'm taking notes on them, but they're also observing one another. They're checking, they're self-assessing through their observation of the progress of their work. And it's a phenomenal, phenomenal technique.
The formative assessment process has really changed my classroom community. The students are much more willing to speak up, to ask questions, and not just yes/no questions or what do we do next? It's much deeper questions. I think that I noticed that they're definitely willing to orally pursue complicated issues, which I think is really impressive for 8 and 9-year-olds. To be willing to take that risk and to talk through some of their thinking.
Irene and Edwin were having a good conversation, and then I used the sticks.
Like if you have all together and each, then you'll know it's gonna be multiplication because there's 2 words that are times and only 1 word that's addition.
Interesting. So you may have to look for a second keyword. The kids are much more engaged with each other. Instead of just always asking me questions, they're turned to each other and ask each other questions, look for answers from each other, explain mistakes to each other. They seem much less nervous to make a mistake or to ask for some help from one of their peers. So that's been a big change.
Okay, let's go back. Okay, and of course, we at our every lesson we use different tools for formative assessment. Here are given for formative assessment tools for distance learning. Mostly from this list, you use maybe Kahoot, Quizlet, quizzes, and Creative. Yeah. And according to the such a tool, I would like you to show very useful website where which I use at my lessons, because there are a lot of sheets according to the different theme, grammar material, and there are given a video lesson which is very important and useful for our students, because according to their favorite films, there are given such a questions during the video. When they, while they are watching the video, they will do the tasks simultaneously. Of course, I would like to show you just a minute. No. Maybe you know this website. It's called ISL Collective, and you can use here grammar worksheets according to the grammar material, adjectives, and everything is there given. Clauses, comparison, conditionals, and so on. According to the vocabulary, the themes are given: ability, for example, animals, body art, or birthdays, body parts, Christmas, city, countries, and so on. Or you can use the type of material. And mostly I like in this website, it is video lessons. Here are given a short video instruction that you can create your own video from the YouTube. You download the video and make questions according to the video, according to your material. Here is given instruction, and there are, for example, given videos with the tasks: listening comprehension, reading, listening to the song, or according to the grammar material. For example, let's choose one of the grammar material. For example, can. Here are given a lot of pages according to the grammar material, and can't, for example, let's use this video. And this video shows that there are 11 questions, or maybe it's filling in gap, or matching, or typing the correct variant of the word or modal verb. Let's watch a short video, okay? In here, put the words in order. For example, she run she can run. Oh, just a minute. Yeah, how can I? No, let's go on, because I couldn't. Fill in the gap, fill in with can or can't, fill the gap. The girl catch the balloon. For example, just a minute, my can't. Yeah, it's right. So our students can do such a video according to their material, according to this grammar or vocabulary material. And I would like to say that garden analogy, the formative assessment, is the equivalent of feeding and watering the plants appropriate to their needs, directly affecting their growth. That is all. If you have questions, please, I would answer your questions. Thank you very much.